Welcome back everyone to another video. In today's video we're going to be looking at the worst beginner fish that you can keep in your tanks. Now pretty much every fish on this list has their place in the aquarium hobby, but in specific circumstances that I don't believe beginners should be getting into straight away, and certainly not for their first fish. Starting at number one, it's angelfish. Now this is quite controversial for a lot of people because it seems like a super common fish that a lot of people recommend to beginners. Now I find this kind of crazy because not only are angelfish a large fish and require a larger tank, which most beginners don't usually start off with, but angelfish are a cichlid, so they're a hyper aggressive species that can pick on each other and even kill each other in extreme circumstances, and I believe that's not something you want to be messing with as a beginner. So I wouldn't recommend angelfish to any beginner unless you're willing to buy 6 or more angelfish at a time. And the reason being is because if there's 6 or more, they're less likely to pick on each other, or if you were just going to buy a single angelfish in a community tank. But make sure that the tank is big enough. I wouldn't recommend putting an angelfish in anything smaller than a 3 or 4 foot tank, as they do grow quite large. Number 2 on our list is barla sharks. Now barla sharks are an interesting species because for a lot of beginners they're kind of something that you want. You know, everyone wants to have a shark in their tank. When friends come over, it's like, whoa dude, you have a shark? But they have a few hang-ups. So barla sharks grow freaking huge and will kind of mess up your tank, you know, if your tank's too small, and they need a lot of space to swim around in. So if you're going to get a barla shark and you're a beginner, make sure you have the tank space necessary. I wouldn't put them in anything smaller than a 4 foot tank. Now number 3 on our list is Oscars. One of the cutest fish you'll see when you walk into a fish shop, and they can be very tempting. I know that when I first got my 3rd tank, when I was starting out in the hobby, I got an Oscar. But I had a 4 foot tank and there was enough space for him to swim around. But I was surprised because they grow huge. Oscars grow massive, so if you don't have the tank space for them and you don't have the right tank mates for them, they are trouble. So Oscars are super aggressive, they're a cichlid, they're a big monster fish. You need a big tank for them, and they can get quite aggressive as they grow. I know they look cute when they're small, but trust me, they get big. Now number 4 on our list is large plecos. So things like gibiceps, sailfin plecos, gold spot plecos, your common plecos. They all look cute and small when you walk into a pet shop, and they look a lot like bristlenose in many circumstances, but they're not. They have huge hang-ups because they grow massive. These fish are not to be messed with unless you have the tank space for them. I wouldn't recommend, if you're planning on keeping them long term, a tank any smaller than 6 foot. They grow monstrous size and they will make a mess of your tank if you don't have the tank space for them as well. They're large fish, they need space to swim. But if you are a beginner and you have a big tank to start off with and you're that lucky, I would actually recommend these because they are super hardy and they do clean your tank quite well in terms of surface algae. Number 5 on our list is convict cichlids. Now convict cichlids are one of those species, again, that's super common and you see in the fish stores, and they're cheap and they're real cute, but they are menaces. They're super aggressive, especially when it comes to breeding. So if you get a male and a female, they are going to breed no matter what, no matter the circumstances, no matter the tank you put them in, and they are super aggressive and they breed like rabbits. So you don't want to be stuck with this species, because I've made the mistake before. I've bought convict cichlids, I've brought them home, I've put them in my tank and they've had babies, and I've ended up with 250 baby convict cichlids, and I could not for the life of me get rid of them. It literally took me like a year to sell them off like $1 each as adults to people. So definitely wouldn't recommend convict cichlids as a beginner, or for anyone in that matter, unless you just are in absolute love with the species and you just want to breed millions of them and keep them for the rest of your life. Number 6 on the list is something that is more of a category and not so much a specific species. And then the reason I've done that is because when you start out in the hobby, for some weird reason, or at least this is what happened to me, I wanted the most expensive and rare, cool looking fish I could find, and I didn't want to settle for the mollies or the platies or stuff like that. But don't get me wrong, it is cool to keep the real cool expensive stuff, but it isn't worth the risk of losing a super expensive investment if you don't have the knowledge and understanding yet. So for example, discus, they're super nice and colorful, but they're fragile and expensive. Zebra plecos are a crazy beautiful fish, and I actually had zebra plecos a few times, and they're awesome fish. They are actually decently hardy, but if you kill them, it's like $1,400 just gone like that, and it's definitely not worth it if you're a beginner. Wait a bit, wait till you get a bit more experience and you know what's going on with your new aquarium, and then you can save up for the cool and expensive and rare species. Now, even as a beginner, I wouldn't even recommend going for the rare strains of fish, like rare strains of guppies that are like $40 a pair. I'd just go for the easy stuff first and sort of learn how everything works first up, rather than just diving into the cool stuff too quickly and taking your time and learning. Last but not least on our list is African cichlids. Now, another controversial one for a lot of people, and African cichlids have their space in the hobby and are an enjoyable species to keep, don't get me wrong. The biggest hang up is their like crazy aggression. So if you're going to keep African cichlids, you need a larger tank, you need to be monitoring your water chemistry a lot more than if you would per se a soft water aquarium, and you know, or like just any sort of aquarium, because they need hard water and high alkalinity. And usually, for the most part, most people can't just provide that straight out of the tap. So they're a little bit harder to take care of in that respect, though they are pretty hardy and can survive a wide range of water chemistry. But as I said, the main hang up is they're just crazy aggressive. They will kill each other. They're super territorial, so if you're going to go with an African cichlid tank, you're going to need quite a lot of African cichlids in there, so that it's kind of like dither fish and they can't really just pick on one fish and just kill it. So that if you're going to have an African tank, you need lots of Africans, which does get expensive, so I definitely wouldn't recommend that for a beginner. Anyway guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Also, if you're new, don't forget to check out the membership page. I've just started it. I'm super excited to be sharing with you guys all of the new tiers within the membership page. We've got personally requested videos, we've got membership polls, all that kind of fun stuff. So if you're interested in supporting the channel, don't forget to take that next step and press join and join us on the membership page. I'll see you guys over there.